Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Now today we are testing S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2, and not only that, but we're seeing how it runs on the developer suggested minimum system requirements. Now what we have here is not footage from said requirements. This is just for some context to show you how good the game can look running at epic settings. It's a fantastic looking game. I'm having a great time with this game, to be honest. The atmosphere, the combat, everything about it so far I'm really enjoying. My PC is not enjoying this game as much as I am though. Even on my 4070 Super rig, I have had to implement DLSS with the quality settings. But take a good look at this because this is the last you'll see of the game looking this pretty today. And let's jump in to the minimum specs page first of all. Now I can really appreciate a decent system requirements guide such as the one found on the S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 site here. We have a table of contents for low settings, medium settings, high epic settings and final thoughts. Now as you can see, the low settings here, which suggests that you are running a more modest setup. Now this is a guide for 1080p 30 FPS. It features a Ryzen 5 1600X or 7700K i7, 16 gigs of dual channel RAM, a 580, 1060 or ARC A750. The ARC being here tells me that it's probably not as well optimized for Intel cards. These listed specs were evaluated using TSR and comparable technology, so I'm sensing we're going to need some upscaling here. The 1060, well, and the Ryzen, to be honest, they're both showing their age these days. I've gone for the Ryzen 5 1600X and 1060 option for today's video. Now I thought the most sensible thing to do would be to start with the lowest settings. So I jumped into the graphical menu and basically enabled the low preset. I did have to turn another option down manually. I believe it was light shafts which were enabled, but I had to disable those manually. At the moment we're running at 100% resolution with no anti-aliasing. Now as you can see, there are jagged edges galore with no anti-aliasing solution, but we are getting 1080p 30 FPS as promised. This is pretty harsh to look at though. There's an effect on the screen when you're getting irradiated, like a flickery sort of effect, and it's hard to tell without any form of anti-aliasing on whether or not it's the visuals or you are getting irradiated. So that's not the most convenient thing in the world. As you can see, there are still drops below 30 frames per second as well, even at native and without any form of anti-aliasing. So what I thought I'd do would be to jump into the settings, enable TAA to start with, again with 100% resolution scaling, see if this smooths out the visuals a bit, and then of course see how this affects performance too. So we're going to leave things at 100% resolution scaling for now. The game looks a lot better with TAA. Sometimes TAA can make a game look very soft, it can really blur things out a bit, but here it looks pretty solid, and we're still seeing between 20 and 30 frames per second most of the time, which is going to drop quite significantly as the action heats up or we just venture into an area with more going on. Let's say more dense foliage, for example. You're going to notice a few dips and drops here and there. We'll just scavenge a few things here from this somewhat, I presume, abandoned homestead. We did jump up to above 30 FPS, so I don't think the minimum specs are too far wrong thus far, but remember we're not even using any upscaling as suggested. Just pop a beer there and off we go. I then jumped into the settings to mess around with a few more upscaling methods. We have FSR, XeSS and TSR. I found that FSR set to balanced mode gave us the best result. For this quick bit of gameplay, I set it to quality just to show you that there are still some issues. As you can see here with FSR set to quality, we're seeing a very sort of similar performance number, but as we venture towards this building here, we do see some dips and drops. It's not without its problems, and we are lacking some sort of consistency here. I'd actually recommend implementing a 30 FPS cap. What was that? If you're playing on hardware, that's scary, we'll run away. If you're playing on hardware like this, then a 30 FPS cap through Reaver Tuner, for example, might be your best bet. To me, it's not that much of a problem. You know, I used to play at 30 FPS a lot on older consoles, but I can see why some of you may not find it that enjoyable. We did see a little bit of stutter here and there just then, so we'll jump into the settings now and set things to how I'll leave things basically for the rest of the video. So this is the first of our FSR balanced gameplay segments here. It provides a nice balance, well, literally of visuals and fidelity. Even at the low settings, this game is looking pretty good too, and with plus 30 FPS on the 1060, which by the way is pretty much being maxed out. I think the CPU could definitely handle more in this game. Seems more GPU intensive so far, but yeah, we're pretty much maxing out the card, and we found the limit of the 1060 in this game. When we venture into indoor areas like this, we're going to see that frame rate jump up to between 40 and 50 FPS. I'm just scavenging for things now. Some of the lighting effects do look pretty bad at the lowest settings, but I'm just grateful that we can play it with help from upscaling, of course. And this is also available on Game Pass, you'll be pleased to know. So if you have a lower end rig or an entry level build and you're thinking, can I run this game? If you've got Game Pass already on PC, it's worth a download to find out. Or if not, you're better off paying I think it's about £10 here in the UK, so whatever the equivalent is where you live, and then giving the game a go, because let's not forget it's cheaper than actually buying the game outright. Okay, so I ventured into the building sort of head first, and I didn't realise that I ran out of ammo, so I got absolutely wiped out by the enemies waiting for me here. I think we're going to have to be a bit more cautious and scavenge for some supplies first. I totally underestimated the survival instinct I'd need for playing this. What is that thing? It's some sort of rabid animal, right? We'll just deal with that. Let's go and search this downed helicopter to see if we can find any ammo, and then go and take on the guys hiding in that building over there. Yeah, I'm getting irradiated right now, as expected. Have we got any ammo in here? I think, what have I got so far? Yeah, not much at all. What have we got in this crate? We'll just down a quick beer. We're searching here. Yeah, we've got some ammo. That's pretty good. That will come in handy. As you can see in terms of performance now, I thought we almost got 60 FPS then. 58 frames per second I saw just then. But most of the time with a sort of config like this, you're going to be seeing 30 to 40 FPS with FSR implemented and set to the balanced preset. That's the best place to be with this older hardware. As you can see, the game is pretty much assigning all of our cards, or all of the cards VRAM, is being assigned to the game, and it's utilizing about 4.5 gigs. As I said before, the 1060 is certainly the limit. Let's just throw a grenade in there, take some guys out. Probably missed all of them. What I like about the combat as well is that when there's a grenade incoming, you don't get any sign of it. You just hear it like hit the ground. Really immersive in terms of the combat. Having not played the first one, I'm not sure if it's always been like that, but I'm having a great time with the game. And as you can see, it's holding a lot more steady now with the FSR balanced preset. The frame time graph is a little all over the place. You can probably see the jagged lines going up and down. I saw a dip below 30 FPS then. I think, as I said before, your best bet may be to set a frame rate limit. Whoa, didn't see him there. What's he got? A shotgun, that'll be handy, or a boomstick. Yeah, 30 FPS cap's probably the best thing to do with this sort of hardware. Luckily, the 1060 and Ryzen 5 1600X aren't too expensive. I wouldn't necessarily recommend them for an entry-level PC these days, but if you are looking for something cheap that can run this and others, I might add, probably better than this, it'll run other games better than this, I should think, then it's not going to be an expensive system to put together. But at the sort of minimum these days, I'd probably recommend a 2600 or 3600 Ryzen, possibly an i3 12100F2, and for a graphics card, I think a 1070 is a decent place to be for 1080p gaming, with a bit of upscaling in some scenarios as well. The 1060 is just about hanging in there, but as you can see, it will struggle in some instances. Will we oh yes, we've got him. I've wiped all these guys out without being wiped out myself. And there, I think we'll end. Thank you for watching. This has been S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 on the minimum system requirements, or some of them anyway. We also have the RX 580, of course, and the ARC A750. But on the Ryzen 5 1600X and 1060, it is playable with some graphical sacrifices, and whether or not this performance will get worse as I progress through the game, well, I have to keep you updated. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.